If you've been following the San Francisco 49ers this offseason, you probably noticed something interesting. While most NFL headlines have been dominated by blockbuster trades, superstar contract negotiations, and endless quarterback debates, the 49ers quietly made a move that many fans overlooked at first. It wasn't a move that had analysts screaming on television for hours, and it definitely wasn't the biggest acquisition of the offseason. But the more you look at it, the more it feels like one of the smartest roster decisions the organization has made in months. In fact, there's one unexpected clue that suggests this move is already paying off in a major way, and it has nothing to do with training camp stats or preseason rankings. It's the jersey sales list. And trust me, once you see what's happening, you'll understand why this is becoming one of the most talked about under-the-radar stories surrounding the 49ers right now. Because sometimes the smartest moves aren't the loudest ones. Sometimes they're the ones that signal exactly where a franchise is heading next. The San Francisco 49ers have built one of the NFL's most talented rosters over the last several years. They've developed stars. They've drafted well. They've managed difficult salary cap situations. And they've maintained a culture that keeps them competing year after year. But every successful NFL team eventually faces the same challenge. How do you stay great when the roster becomes expensive? That's the reality facing San Francisco today. The 49ers have invested heavily in star players across the roster. The problem is simple. Elite talent costs elite money. And that's where smart roster construction becomes more important than splashy signings. The best organizations don't just chase stars. They identify future stars before everyone else does. They find value where others aren't looking, and they position themselves for long-term success rather than short-term headlines. That's exactly why this recent move has generated so much attention among people who follow the team closely. At first glance, it looked minor. A depth addition, a developmental investment, the kind of move that disappears from the news cycle after a day or two. But as fans started paying attention, something unexpected happened. The excitement kept growing. Fan reactions became stronger, and suddenly one name kept appearing everywhere. Not because the player had already dominated on Sundays, not because he had made a Pro Bowl, not because he had signed a massive contract, but because fans genuinely believed the 49ers had found something special. Merchandise sales. Now, some people dismiss jersey sales as meaningless, but NFL organizations pay close attention to them. Why? Because jersey purchases represent belief. Fans don't spend money on players they don't care about. They buy jerseys when they feel connected to a player, when they believe that player represents the future, when they think that player will matter. And recently, the numbers have been telling a fascinating story. While established stars continue dominating merchandise rankings across the league, one emerging trend has stood out among 49ers supporters. Fans are embracing the team's younger core faster than expected. And that's a huge sign, because it suggests confidence. Confidence in the roster, confidence in the front office, confidence in the future, and perhaps most importantly, confidence that San Francisco's championship window remains wide open. Think about what makes the 49ers different from many other franchises. They don't panic. When other teams chase headlines, the 49ers often focus on development. When others overpay in free agency, San Francisco frequently looks for value. And when difficult roster decisions arrive, they usually have a succession plan ready. That philosophy has helped keep them near the top of the NFC for years. Look back at recent seasons. The team has lost talented players before, yet somehow they keep finding replacements. New contributors emerge. Young players step forward. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because the organization consistently identifies talent before it becomes obvious to everyone else. And that's why this latest move feels important. It fits the exact pattern that has defined the franchise's success. The move wasn't about winning a press conference. It was about strengthening the roster. It was about creating competition. It was about ensuring the team remains deep enough to survive the inevitable challenges of an NFL season. Injuries happen. Unexpected departures happen. breakout players emerge. The teams that prepare for those realities usually end up playing meaningful football in January. The 49ers understand that better than almost anyone. Another reason fans have responded so positively is because the move addresses a growing concern many supporters had entering the offseason: depth. Every contender talks about star power, but championships are often decided by depth. What happens when injuries strike? Those questions can define a season. The smartest organizations prepare for them long before they become problems. That's exactly what San Francisco appears to be doing. Instead of waiting for a crisis, they're building solutions in advance. And fans have noticed. That's why the reaction has been so strong. The excitement isn't just about one player. It's about what the move represents. It represents planning. It represents vision. It represents an organization that refuses to become complacent. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons the 49ers remain one of the NFL's most respected franchises. They're always thinking ahead. While other teams focus on today, San Francisco often focuses on tomorrow. That approach has created sustained success. It's also created trust. When the 49ers make a move, fans tend to give the organization the benefit of the doubt. Not because every decision works perfectly. No front office is perfect. But because the overall track record is strong. The organization has earned credibility. And credibility matters, especially during an offseason filled with uncertainty. Consider everything the team has navigated recently: contract discussions, roster transitions, player departures, salary cap challenges, expectations from a passionate fan base. Despite all of that, the franchise continues finding ways to stay competitive. That's difficult, very difficult. Yet the 49ers keep doing it. This latest roster move may not dominate national headlines, but inside league circles, these are often the transactions that separate great organizations from average ones. The NFL isn't just about superstar acquisitions. It's about maximizing every roster spot, finding hidden value, developing talent, creating competition, building depth, and preparing for situations before they arise. The best teams understand this. The 49ers certainly do. What's particularly interesting is how quickly the fan base embraced the move. Usually it takes time for newer players to gain widespread popularity. Fans want proof. They want production. They want highlights. This situation feels different. The enthusiasm arrived almost immediately. That's rare. It suggests fans see potential. Real potential. The kind that could translate into meaningful contributions sooner rather than later. Of course, expectations should remain realistic. Every offseason generates excitement. Every training camp produces breakout candidates. Not every story ends with a star emerging. Football simply doesn't work that way. Development takes time. Growth takes patience. Opportunities must be earned. But there's nothing wrong with optimism. And right now, optimism is exactly what this move has created. The jersey sales conversation highlights that perfectly. Fans aren't just talking about the player. They're investing in the idea. The idea that San Francisco found another valuable piece. The idea that the roster continues getting stronger. The idea that the front office remains one step ahead. And honestly, those ideas matter. Culture matters. Momentum matters. Belief matters. Championship teams often possess all three. As we get closer to training camp, all eyes will be on how this story develops. Can the player live up to the growing expectations? Can the coaching staff maximize the opportunity? Can the roster move ultimately become one of the offseason's hidden gems?